Live. Oh, wait.
Good evening. Nope.
Yeah, keep going, keep going. We're live. I
Okay,
just
we are.
have to fix Skype.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Top Deck Heroes. So, a lot of stuff happened this week. One major news story we're talking about here in a little bit. But for a couple news items, remember, Rochester CCG is still running the buy two boxes, get a playmat special. The UFS Instant Collection still available for sale for just $7. You get 75 commons, 25 uncommons, 5 rares, 2 promos, and an ultra rare, all from standard. In addition, we are also selling $60 Ruler of Time boxes to help get those out, and there's a lot of great cards in that set. And I think the big story this week, Kevin Broberg, is the Michigan PTC.
Yeah, it's coming up this weekend. I'm super pumped to go out and see my Michigan family and my Midwest family that's hopefully going to show up, and everybody else, see what everyone's been playing with, and hopefully kick all of their asses. But, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, we had a great time there last year. We went to this pizza place that I think we're
The
going back
most,
to.
the most important part, I forgot. I'll let you go ahead.
We went with had that. We had the Hurley Ball.
The Hurley Ball.
And I think we actually have a picture last year from the Michigan PTC with Kevin and I in it.
Yeah, I messed up a little bit here, so we're doing it live, but hopefully this will work out. Folders, sorry.
Well, while Kevin's getting up the pictures from last year's Michigan PTC, let's remember, if you are planning to go, let Matt McDaniel know because he's trying to make sure he gets a good count for pizza and Hurley Ball. Entry is going to be $25 at the door at the game store, which I believe is Eternal Games in Warren, Michigan. We were there last year. I know he is planning to stream some matches, and if bandwidth allows, we're going to try to stream some matches on the Rochester CCG Twitch page. Hopefully get everybody tons and tons and tons of coverage.
Yep, we got the picture up now, Sean. You can see this was Sean and I after this is probably round 3 or 4, sitting at
I believe this is the start of round 4.
Yep, tables 1 and 2. Let me see. Can I tell? Is this Phil Birch's hands? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm playing Phil Birch. I was playing Clark. He was playing Felicia. And I forgot who you were playing.
I know. Oh, it's round 4, not round 5. I must have been playing. Was I playing Dan Hughes this round?
Maybe. Well, unfortunately, like most Buffalo Bills seasons, we were doing really good at the start of the second half. But Kevin Broberg, please bring up a picture of us from the end of the event.
Yep. Oh, it's much smaller. Let's see if we can fit this to screen. There. Oh, sure. Yeah. So this is the two of us together in the wheelie bin.
Yeah, we went on to lose our next 2 matches, and neither of us made top cuts. We are very sad-looking raccoons in the wheelie bin. Looks like there's a third raccoon there hiding in the back, probably Christine. But hey, look, we got some Miller Lite. We're gonna have a good time. It's Miller time.
Yeah, in true Buffalo fashion.
In true Buffalo fashion. So. Hopefully,
that was a great event last year, though. I mean, I played. It was great to have the streamed feature matches, especially when I got featured in back-to-back feature matches, playing in a whole new world of decks. And then apparently they didn't quite work out at the end of the day. I mean, you were playing Clark, and Clark's always a barrel of laughs.
Oh yeah, I had a great time. Unfortunately I made a poor child, an adult man, very sad in round 1. I was playing Clark and he was playing Jada. And Jada gives me all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Literally all the time in the world.
He can reverse you after you take him to Suplex City. And
that's okay.
Let you draw another card.
Yeah, I'll take 5, draw a card and tap his best thing. Okay.
You don't need that Ophidiotopia.
Sure. So that was a good time. I'm hoping I think we'll have a good time this year at the Michigan PTC as well.
Yeah, I'm super pumped to see what everyone does with Battle for Power. We've had some really fun decks here, and I'm sure there'll be a lot less fun had at the end of the day. I'm sure everyone will be very salty about whatever wins.
Exactly. As far as top 8 predictions, I don't think we're going to really talk about that tonight, but we are going to talk about later during Kevin's top 5 is the top 5 cards to have a plan for playing at the Michigan PTC. So
Yeah,
we'll talk about that a
yeah,
little later on.
we'll cross that bridge. Um, so in addition to obviously our biggest upcoming event this weekend and all of the rest of the things on our that have been charted out on our calendar with all the events, we've got a packed schedule coming up, but we'll get to that later, and including the set releases we've got coming up down the line. There's a new kind of blip on the radar just past the horizon, red
The
horizon.
Red Horizon.
Just over the horizon of the currently charted out events. We don't have any events currently scheduled for January, and the last PTC of the season is December 3rd. And there's been some talk on the forums. Well, Shane Duckworth has posted on the forums, de facto events manager for Jasco Games, because who else is going to do it? Um, that we may not be having the World Championship in January this year, and seeing about the community's interest in holding it at a later date.
Yeah, I actually caught wind of this earlier this week because I've been harassing Shane Duckworth for a while about a date because we can get direct flights to Las Vegas for once. And I'm like, let's get these dates so I don't have to go through like 8 different airports to get to where I want to go.
Yep.
And then,
If we get direct flights, I won't have to take a red eye home.
yay!
That'll be great.
So, the rumor has it right now that they're thinking of moving Worlds to April or May and doing something with the Pro Gaming League dudes. For those of you unfamiliar, they're the guys who put on the final round of the Rochester CCG 2K last May at Level Up Expo. And I believe they also were involved in the final boss stream, which Chris Pratt, the 2K champion, took on Jason Horonsky in the final boss match.
Yeah, so I haven't actually looked into them much. I don't know if they're just a general streaming services company, or if they're kind of just trying to get a brand out there in this day and age. But it's really exciting that if we, that we'll have a professional service there to help support the stream, to help put that on, and just to make sure that there's feature matches every round. So I think having feature matches at the World Championships, that sounds really nice now that I actually say it out loud. And it just puts UFS on the biggest stage. It puts UFS's biggest stage on an even bigger stage, and that's everyone out there join in.
So, I mean, I think there's some good things to come of this. Like you said, having professional streaming people there, that's going to be really cool. Because we do enjoy all the streams we get throughout the week of, UFS tournaments going on. And we like having it at PTCs and stuff like that. But these guys do it on a whole nother level compared to us doing amateur hour over here with hand cams and commentary and all sorts of cool stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be really great to see. And I mean, I think it's great for experienced players and for new players alike, or for people who don't really know what UFS is. It's a great way to kind of give them a look of what the game's like and and just to help to get them excited about it. Maybe have them seek out some help learn.
Yeah, it'll be really good to have a high quality stream for people not at the event to engage in as well. Because I know people always bellyache because coverage for UFS just hasn't been good. And, when there's events because, fighting for bandwidth or just not doing it at all. And I think it'll be really cool to have matches come up every single round for people to watch at home.
Absolutely.
And so the grizzled veteran sitting at home can pick apart plays or call the tournament organizer if they see someone cheating, which has happened on stream before.
Yeah.
And new players just like seeing card games happening, like seeing UFS, like coming up with new decks and whatnot. So
yeah, and I think
that's good.
Yeah, new players, not only coming up with new decks and just seeing what other people are playing, but it's one thing to see deck lists from an event, and I think that having deck lists is an incredibly valuable thing. It's part of the official tournament policy. You must post the deck list after a PTC. I think that's a great improvement for good reasons, like it helps new players get into the game, and get like say, oh well, here's a guideline to follow when I'm building my own deck to play locally, and maybe I'll have more fun with a better constructed deck. Now with streaming, you not only see what the deck is, but you see how it plays. What are some kind of patterns you can pick up on, and ways to help learn to play a deck that might be more complex than you might be able to handle just kind of reading the cards and figuring out what to do with it from there.
Right. That's really good. And Kevin Broberg, you were looking at the calendar coming up, and what did you notice about this coming potentially here in April or May
Yeah,
as far as product?
Shane did post in the forums that Street Fighter would be legal if it's held in May or in April, whereas it would probably, I mean, it would not be legal if it were held in January. We would just have Blood Omen, assuming, yeah. Anyway, we have Blood Omen, and if it's held in, but then we know that the release schedule loosely is something like Q1 for Street Fighter, Q2 ish, I think, for Cowboy Bebop, the next set after that, and the third set they've scheduled for next year so far is Mortal Kombat. And Cowboy Bebop probably would not be out then. And Shane, I mean, I don't think this was um, a mistake to omit saying that Cowboy Bebop would be legal, because that would be really exciting to have two whole new sets before the next major here.
Oh, we will have two whole new sets anyhow. I mean, we will still have Blood Omen and Street Fighter. We just won't have two new licenses.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And can you imagine having Cowboy Bebop on that big stream and say, "Hey, anime nerds, check it out, fam! Spike Spiegel's in the finals. Let's go!" And then he loses to Hutzel because that's just what happens.
Heitzel's banned.
I know.
He'd probably lose to Felicia or Jiffany
Jamber. Yeah, he's losing to Jiffany Jamber.
Or if the masses are to be believed, Turbo Man.
It's not hard to lose to Turbo Man, let me tell you.
So I feel like there's a lot of good things to come out of it. However, there's some not good things to come out of it. First of all, I would be very sad not to have my Escape from New York trip this year.
It's so cold.
It gets so cold.
It's so cold.
And it's so nice in Las Vegas in January. We leave here in the morning where it's 0 degrees out. We step off the plane 6 hours later and it's 70.
Yeah, I've turned into a cold-blooded animal now. Like I get cold when it's 70 out. I wear a hoodie around Las Vegas in the winter. But I'm really happy wearing a hoodie around in the winter. Like if I get too warm, I just take my hoodie off and I'm in a t-shirt and I'm super comfy and it's great. In Rochester, I leave Rochester wearing 2 coats over my hoodie.
It's pretty miserable. So that kind of stinks. I like getting out of the freezer, for UFS. And it's not going to be on your birthday this year, Kevin Broberg. It's not even possible.
Yeah, I know.
If they move it to April or May.
Currently undefeated in matches played on my birthday, 8-0.
So that kind of stinks.
I know. It's such a disappointment, and I don't have an excuse to. I mean, I didn't really go out and party or anything because I had matches to win the next morning, but it was kind of neat.
Yeah. What'll really be interesting to see how this affects the Player of the Year, which got off to kind of a bumpy and controversial start this year when it was just announced the day of the tournament and people were grumpy because they didn't get a chance to get signed up or get their plane tickets to compete for it. And then what's going to happen if are they going to make the season start in April? And if the season starts in April, does the 2016 season still end in December, or do we get an extra 4 months?
Yeah, I think there's generally a lot of questions around Player of the Year. I haven't seen a Player of the Year update recently at all.
Do we even do Player of the Year anymore?
Yeah, I don't believe I've I mean the guy who's running it has left the company, so we know that much. It might be in a bit of limbo. It might be just kind of backburnered, and they'll catch up when they can prioritize some time to deal with it or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I just hope, Player of the Year doesn't go by the way of the Turbo car, which we've ran 3 qualifiers in as many years.
Yeah.
And there's no sign as to how those people who qualified are going to ever have a chance to win their car. I mean, by the time Giggles gets a chance to cash in his 2 keys, he might be too old for UFS.
He might be too old to drive.
He might be too old to drive. So that I'm a little concerned about because we don't know what's going to happen with Player of the Year. We don't even know what's going on with the program right now. And a trend that I noticed, it looks like Kevin noticed too, is this would probably mean it's not at a convention.
Yep. So we moved, partially at the community's insistence. U.S. Nationals was moved from Gen Con to just kind of a hotel ballroom, basically, offsite. Not at a major convention. Just if you want to come to this, you've got to be coming to play UFS. That's got to be your end destination, or maybe like check out the awesome Atlanta Aquarium and then play UFS on the side or something. But you can't like. It's not like you were going to go to Atlanta on a random weekend in October for no reason, and you're just going to play UFS because you're there already, where you could at Gen Con or maybe at an Otakon. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a different trend because it used to be every single major was always at an Origins, a Gen Con. Well, I guess
Well,
I guess the old U.S. Nationals in
not
Vegas wasn't always.
really. U.S. Nationals was held, at UFS only specific things before. But remember last year when we were at Otakon, we had the highest turnout for Worlds in Jasco Games history with over 100 players compared to a year ago when UFS was held just in the ballroom at the South Point Casino where we had 70. I mean, I'm sure part of that change is attributed to Shane and Jason going out and playing UFS, but I think it's really cool to have another destination to go to if for some reason you end up like me and Kevin last year in Michigan where we start off strong and end up in the wheelie bin bracket.
Yeah, it's always nice to have consolation prizes of just enjoyable things to do in general. If you end up in that bracket in Atlanta, I do highly recommend the aquarium. It's probably even a lot better when school is in and there's not a million screaming kids everywhere.
So
But yeah, on
the other
topic,
the other
conventions are great.
downsides, yeah, I mean one of the other downsides is there's not going to be all the eyes coming in to see, ooh, what are all these people playing.
Yep.
There's
Everyone's
not
just
going to
going
be a
there.
Jasco Games booth where there's like 300 demos going on at a time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I definitely had several old grannies come up to me and be like, "So what are you guys playing?" And I'm like, "Well, this is UFS, the Universal Fighting System. Maybe your grandson will like it, or whatever."
Kevin, old people can play UFS too.
I'm not. I'm
I
not.
mean,
I'm not here to be ageist. Just like they probably don't have time to fit in UFS between their busy schedule of Golden Girls reruns. That's all I'm saying.
thank you for being a friend. Kevin, you don't know what the Golden
I
Girls
have
song is.
no idea what you're talking about.
So that I think that could hurt us, but I think if these people Pro Gaming League get as many views as they claim they can, that could be huge for UFS, especially if they can put in the stream list, the Street Fighter card game. We
Yeah.
could get potentially hundreds or thousands of people watching UFS who would have otherwise never heard of it.
Yeah, and I know there's certainly a market for trading card games out there on Twitch. I don't know. I don't know what exactly would be competing with how we can try to hit these numbers. But Hearthstone regularly has tens of thousands of people watching all the streams. Magic the Gathering, major events, always like get into 5 digits all the time. I don't know about further games, but like Pokemon streams, those exist, and I don't know what their numbers are, but people, I mean, they certainly get watched. So it'd be good to throw UFS's hat into the ring, so to speak, and
Yeah.
get ourselves out there.
I mean, overall, yeah. Short show tonight, though, Kevin Broberg. I think that covered all of our main stories. Before we move on to top 5, I want to show you something I opened today.
Oh yeah, what'd you open? Is it hot coffee?
So I'm finding, and I don't know if people in the chat have been finding this, Scorch Wheels are very, very rare. They feel rarer than other rares. And maybe this is just my bias, but I opened over the last couple weeks almost 20 booster displays and only got 2 of these guys.
I'm calling that small sample size.
But do
That's
you know what I did get? Do you know what I got like 12 of?
hmm.
Split body. More like split card because I ripped it in half. I was so angry.
Isn't that the searching for family? Isn't that a common?
Split body? No.
Which one is that?
Split body.
Or a rare? Sorry,
Split.
normal rare.
It's a rare. Yeah.
Dude, it's
I got a
searching for
million
family.
copies of that.
It's searching for family. It's great. It's a draw. It's a.
You said it wasn't. You said it wasn't searching for family.
So sorry.
Which is it, Kevin Brover? Is it searching for family or not?
It's bad contacting Hydern.
And contacting hydrant. Okay.
And like contacting Hydern was awesome. So it's still okay.
So let's move on to Kevin's top five because people were asking about our predictions from Michigan. And Kevin Broberg, the top five tonight, the question I asked you is 5 cards you better have a plan against this weekend in Michigan.
So
show us what you've got.
So I'm actually going to need you to show me what I got because due to some technical difficulties, I've been setting up a new stream setup on a new computer with a new webcam and all that stuff, and kind of didn't finish setting it up all the way, so I had to switch setups at the last minute, and I do not have my Gmail logged in, so I can't look at the doc to remember.
Well, let me show you what you got. You put at number 5, Evernopeful.
All right, yeah, Ever Hopeful. It's a card you got to respect. It still belongs on this list. It's a very powerful card, but it's not what it once was. It's not number one. It's not. I think that the Omaha guys did a show and they agree that Ever Hopeful's still good, but it's not like tiltingly good. It's not better than everything else in the format. It's still very powerful though. If you're playing a smaller hand size character, you can get if you start eating hits, you can really get shut down by Ever Hopeful the next turn. But at the same time, maybe you're playing some Turbo Man cards or some arrogant and overconfidence, and you can rebuild super fast even after getting shut down.
All right, Kevin Broberg, and I want everyone to know, except for Ever Hopeful, the remainder of the cards on this list are all cards that have came out since the new design team took over. At number 4,
Ever Hopeful's on
Diplomatic
is not the oldest card on this list, but yeah, okay.
Oh shit! Yeah, I missed one. Lol. All right.
Yeah, so Diplomatic.
Number 4 is Diplomatic.
Does an outrageous amount of work for a 1 difficulty card if you have to walk into it. If you're trying to play a Shield Ram deck and it's not super aggressive, I guess you're probably just going to lose to it. I think it's pretty much a card you just have to kind of respect during deck building. If you're going to be vulnerable to it, if you're going to be building your deck around that kind of stuff, you really need to have plenty of answers, hopefully fairly efficient answers. I know the Hunt for Spiders and Dragons has made me very happy against Diplomatic because it looks like you get to Diplomatic R, but if I turn your Diplomatic face down, that's the first half of the ability, so it's before you get to respond, so you don't get to respond to me leaving my card pool. Yeah, it does an incredible amount of out of damage output. It's usable proactively, so if you have Sagaki offering, that triggers this. I mean, I'm sure we've talked about Diplomatic plenty before, even after the errata. So yeah, it's a card you got to look out for. It's very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Number 3 on this list, Kevin Broberg, you're right, is an older card, and that's Rain Flush.
Yeah, so I don't know if Rain Flush specifically is even going to top 8 this tournament, but I kind of wanted to. I kind of feel like it's the way you stop Rain Flush is you get good at blocking high attacks, and I think that in this format that we're going to be in this weekend, you got to block some high attacks. And blocking high attacks, if you're good at blocking high attacks, you can deal with Rain Flush. You can just shut it out. I mean, it still gets an advantage. It's still very efficient. But that's what you have to do to beat it. If you don't have good high blocks, if you get mixed up and tricked into thinking they're all low attacks and they just drop double Rain Flush, they're gonna kill you. And that's letting alone if we're playing something like a Slaughterhouse base deck or a Slaughterhouse Kadath deck or something, which really pushes this card over the top.
Mm-hmm. Number 2 on the list is Dragon Flare.
Yeah, so Dragon Flare, this might not belong on the number 2 spot here. But I was thinking about I think that Natali won in the UK, so the UFS community is very big on being super creative, playing your own pet decks, playing your own stuff. But there's still a pretty good chance someone's going to show up with Natali. There's a pretty good chance someone's going to show up with a really fast stun heavy deck with lots of fast high impact cards like Dragon Flare. Some Chasm Busters I'm sure are going to see play this weekend. And you got to be ready for those cards because they can just completely wreck you. I'm definitely worried about my because I don't play 60 hand sides. That's boring and slow. I'm all about that crazy fast getting killed by Dragon Flare life. So
Yeah, and especially in the Natali deck, if your opponent has the good fortune of drawing one and they're going second, they can just drop that at the end of their attack turn.
yep,
And for the most part, unless you played like 5 foundations and have a +0 mid block, you're gonna have a hard time blocking that.
yep, you can pretty much just chalk it up as a 10 speed attack and then figure out can I block a 10 speed attack. And it turns out 10 speed is a lot.
Especially on turn one. All right, number one on the list, and this is, I'm sure, going to come to no surprise to anybody viewing tonight, is Scorch Wheel.
I wanted to make a joke about Templar there. Like I wanted to like interrupt. Yeah, it's Templar. No, Templar actually should have been number two. That's a better answer than Dragon Flare because killing Templar decks is frustrating. But yeah, Scorch Wheel is the public enemy number one. It's $1 million, completely unfindable. Well, $125 if you talk to Matthew Curtis Turner. Um, each 500 for a playset. Um, yeah, it gives you such an insane advantage. You don't need to Scorch Wheel to draw your deck to get ahead with this card. It's a no progressive difficulty. Draw two, draw three is quite solid, and sets you up with a nice advantage, especially if your opponent can't block it. There's a few decks
Mm-hmm.
that truly abuse this card more than anyone has any right to, and there's also just Turbo Man who uh, like he transcends abuse. It's like it's not even abusive. It's just kind of you just gotta grin and lie back and think of the queen.
And the problem, the thing to watch out with Scorch Wheel too, is even if you can stop the draw, by the time they are trying to draw maybe 3 4 cards, they may have already bopped you a couple times that turn, and you've already had to block. And it comes in at a 4 high for 7, and they could easily play another one on a 5, and you have to deal with it again. And where this card I think gets really bonkers is off of All in Life, and you can pair it up with Zing. And as long as you can keep checking 5s into infinity, your opponent's just going to take potato damage.
Yeah, the whole Turbo Man suite really is available is a threat on every symbol. Um, all
Mm-hmm.
life and void, Turbo Man, C, Tengu Man. Uh, I built a Basilio deck that I submitted to Total Justice Gaming. Anyone that can add cards to their staging area or access more cards is a threat to really push these cards over the top. Except for all the women out there, because Scorch Wheel
Athena's hit
is,
the glass ceiling.
yep. you know, I mean, Tiffany Jamber won an event, and so did Garrett. So like Garrett's character. So it's not all bad out there, but
I mean, is Garrett
this
gender
year,
female?
uh,
Probably should be.
no, no. I mean, he identifies as
His skin is so fair.
that's an awful joke. I feel bad. So yeah, Scorch Wheel makes me feel bad too. So be ready for that one. Get a game plan. It usually doesn't come as the first attack or anything, so you can often try to disrupt people by reversing their early attacks or hitting them with Breaker or hitting them with Hanya as a decent answer. Fighting over the draw effect can be quite effective because a lot of times you have to go all in to really get a good Scorch Wheel going.
Hmm.
Or maybe you tap out your board with the expectation of finding good things with your Scorch Wheel, so a timely revoke or caught red-handed can really shut down the game. But the people who play a Scorch Wheel know that too, so they'll come with some level of preparation or
Yeah, and I mean with Turbo Man's suite, it does make Scorch Wheel turbo free with petrol powered. And then, I mean, a card I think that's going to sneak by people, especially playing Turbo Man, that people might end up in trouble against is Hi-Fi Stereo.
yeah,
Because if your opponent could strip a card from your hand on a Scorch Wheel turn, you could be in really, really bad shape.
yeah. I think the discard is the secret, kind of the secret angle that really can push Turboman over the top. Um, if he starts landing Scorch Wheels, the best answer to revoke is to take it out of their hand, or alternatively, to force your opponent in a situation where you make them discard all about their last card, and they choose between revoke or a block. And if they take the block, you just get to rough them up and don't even have to play Scorch Wheel to get a nice edge.
Right. Or if they discard the revoke, then you just go in on Scorch Wheel and hope they don't have any other answers.
Yep, it's a good place to be.
So that's Kevin's top 5. We'll see which of those 5 cards shows up the most this weekend in top 8 decks at the Michigan PTC. Tonight's a short show. Let's wrap it up, Kevin Berberg, with our upcoming events, which, we've talked plenty about this coming event, September 24th, 25th, at the Warren PTC in Warren, Michigan, at Eternal Games. We'll be there. I know a lot of people are going to be there. I think it's going to be a great time. Santa Clara PTC, October 8th and 9th at Game Castle. The U.S. Nationals, October 14th to 16th in Atlanta, Georgia. The Fremont PTC, October 29th and 30th at Mythic Affinity in Fremont, Nebraska. That's a new entry a couple weeks ago, replacing the New Orleans PTC. The Rockford PTC, November 5th and 6th at Top Cut Comics in Rockford, Illinois. The Poughkeepsie PTC, November 19th to 20th at Champion Card Collector in Poughkeepsie, New York. And then the last event on the calendar for the time being, the Reno PTC, December 3rd to 4th at Games Galore in Reno, Nevada.
Yeah, we've got a packed schedule these next couple of weeks. Well, couple weeks, like a couple months, I guess, really. And then it slacks off right around the holidays. It'll be an exciting time. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the things that I'm looking forward to seeing how I can set the tone this weekend, maybe, and see what else develops in this new format.
Or we could end up in the wheelie bin bracket.
More likely, yeah.
So
Sean, do
we'll
you
see.
feel like you're prepared for this PTC?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
But I've got a deck that I like. I'm going to fix up the sideboard, and we're going to see what happens. I sought some advice from an old hermit down in Poughkeepsie on how to play.
All right.
And we're going to see what happens.
All right, man.
Just FYI, I'm playing Kazuya.
Oh my god, I would love that character. He would be so good at this format. Can you imagine?
He'd be amazing.
I don't even know if there's any support for characters with those symbols, and he also chains 2 with self-destruct, but
no staging areas for anyone.
His ability is way better than self-destruct. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, you could build 5 and then self-destruct.
Yeah. You can
attack, build 4, then self-destruct.
You can build 3 and then use that the Best of Both Evils card to give your check for an attack +3, and then self-destruct, then attack.
Yeah. You can do that too.
Oh man.
So, well, we'll see everybody next week. Same time, same channel.
We'll see everybody at 11 o'clock on Friday night.
In Michigan. If there's anybody in the chat who's going to go, let's see. NJ, no. Hungry Nerd, no. Actius Luna, maybe. She might be there. S. O'Brien, Rochester CCG, no. Unbridled Instinct, no. Pony Poner, who knows? We'll see.
I want to believe.
I will see.
Pony Poner, I'm looking out for you, man.
We'll see you guys this coming weekend in Michigan, if not next week. Good night.
All right, good night, everyone. Where's the button?